Hey guys, I'm Shelby, and so I remember as a kid like coming home and just having the house smell like fresh baked cookies. And so that's one of my favorite things from my childhood, whether it be my mom was making the cookies or I was helping her make the cookies by throwing ingredients everywhere. It's one of my favorite things. So today I'm going to demonstrate to y'all how to make the perfect chocolate chip cookies every single time. Never fails. So I can remember making these chocolate chip cookies with my mom or with my grandmother, and even with my entire family being in the kitchen ever since I can honestly remember. And these cookies are so simple. So you only need 6 ingredients. You need a cup of chocolate chips, half a cup of pecans, 1 Duncan Hines classic white cake mix, a half cup of oil, 2 eggs, and 2 tablespoons of water to make them. So the first thing that you want to do before you actually get mixing everything is you want to go ahead and start your oven and preset it to 350 degrees. That's the temperature that we want for the cookies, and we want to go ahead and have your oven preheated. So the next thing is, we really like to use our stand mixer when we make the cookies. If you don't have a stand mixer available, you can always use a whisk or a hand mixer, anything that you have on hand. So also, we like to go and sift our cake flour, or our cake mix, because it makes the cookies just light and fluffy, and then chocolate chips just ooze through the middle of them, and they are absolutely fantastic. So I've gone ahead and I've already mixed all the wet and dry ingredients. So now I'm just going to go and turn the mixer on and add our chocolate chips and our pecan pieces. So while we're letting that go, I'm going to go ahead and take the pan and I'm going to go ahead and just spray our cookie sheet. That way our cookies don't stick. So once your oven has been preheated to 350 degrees and you sprayed your cookie sheet, it's time for you to go ahead and scoop your cookies out onto your sheet. So we like to use an ice cream scoop or any other kind of scoop that you have on hand, just so the cookies are all about the same size, they all cook evenly, and they all come out about the same shape. So a couple things to remember is this cookie dough has raw eggs in it, so we don't really need to eat the raw eggs. Even though cookie dough is delicious and I absolutely love to eat cookie dough, don't really want to get sick from the raw eggs. Also, don't forget, it takes 9 to 12 minutes for these cookies to cook in the oven, depending on how fast your oven may cook. And also, you don't want to overcrowd the pan, just because the cookies are going to spread out a little bit, and if you have too many cookies, it's going to take a little bit longer for them to cook, and they may not even get done. So, it's time to put the cookies in. So, the cookies just came out of the oven about a minute ago, and so they were in the oven for about 9 to 10 minutes. That's how fast our oven cooks them. So we just really want to make sure that we let the cookies rest before we take them off of the pan. They've been in the oven, so they're hot. We kind of need to let them set up a little bit before you get ready to move them over. So how you make tests to make sure that the cookies are done and you're not going to get raw cookies with gushy insides is they have a little brown around the edge and the tops are just really golden brown. So right here we have parchment paper, and that's what we're going to put our cookies on so that they can completely cool before we get ready to put them up in our airtight container to store them. So if you don't have any parchment paper, you could use a cooling rack. You could kind of use any sort of paper. Parchment paper is the best because the cookies won't stick to them. So all that you do is you go, take your spatula. The pan is cool to the touch now that they've been out here for a little bit. You're just going to put your cookies on the parchment paper. Want to make sure that they're completely done. If you really want to, you can go and you can like break one open and see how good, flaky, and awesome this is. So the cookies have been resting on the parchment paper where they're cooling right now. So now it's time for us to kind of start the process over. So this batch of cookies normally will make about 48 cookies the size of an ice cream scoop. But if you eat the cookie dough, kind of makes a few less. So the next thing is you want to make sure that your tray is completely cooled before you put the next batch on. So what you want to do, you want to take a clean paper towel on your full tray, and you just want to kind of wipe it off, get off any old cookie crumbs, anything like that, just so they don't burn the next time you put it in the oven. So you're going to take your pan, you're going to spray your tray down again, and then you're going to repeat the process all over again. Scoop your cookies out, put them on there, go back in the oven for 9 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to take them out and let them cool again. So now that the cookies have been sitting out for about 20 to 30 minutes, it's time to go ahead and put them in an airtight container. So you want to go ahead and put them in no really fashion order or anything, so we're just going to put a few in there and close it. You can always keep the rest out to save for later, or you can always store some. So just kind of as a little review, you want to make sure that you have all of your ingredients before you actually start to make your cookies. You don't want to get in the middle of making your batter and be like, don't have any eggs and have to run to the store. So make sure you have all of your ingredients. Make sure that you preheat your oven and all your cookies are the same size, so they all get done in the same amount of time and none of them are raw. You also want to make sure they are properly cooled before you start storing them. If you have hot cookies, it's not going to be fun to store them. So one of my favorite things is I love hot cookies and milk with my family. So, and even baking as a child, even if we didn't eat the cookies that night, just being able to bake with my family was always so much fun for me. And so this is kind of just like a basic cookie recipe. You don't have to put pecans or chocolate chips in there. You can put any kind of toppings or ingredients that you want in there and just make it your own. Also, don't forget, once you're done making your batches of cookies, turn your oven off. You don't want to leave your oven on.